Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Milan Dvorak, and I'm a department director at Netcope Technologies. Thank you for coming here to listen to my presentation, and thank you for your patience. We had to wait for the other room to finish. It is my pleasure to talk to you today about how we at Netcope Technologies achieve and maintain a high quality and performance of FPGA-based solutions. I will start my presentation with introduction of our company and of our product, so you'll have some background as to what I'm talking about, and then I will cover several aspects of the testing we use for assuring quality of our solutions. Netcope Technologies is a European vendor of FPGA-based network solutions. We have been, or our employees have a vast experience with FPGA technology, some of them since 2002. The original company called Inviatech was established in 2007, and Netcope Technologies is a former FPGA department of this company, established or split from this company just last year. One of the main recent successes of our company is introduction of the world's first 100 gigabits network interface card in PCIe form factor, which is able to achieve sustainable throughput of 100 gigabits of data to software. Primary focus of our company is low latency electronic trading. We also have solutions for high-speed packet capture or smart traffic filtering. Our low latency trading solution is called TradeCope, and the main idea behind it is that the whole tick-to-trade pipeline is implemented in the FPGA. That means we have blocks for market data decoding, book building, and order session management implemented in the FPGA. You can imagine it's quite a complex design, quite a complex FPGA pipeline, and that's why testing and verification is very important to us. Needless to say, we need to support a lot of exchanges. I think today it is more than 10 and a lot of different configurations, so the testing and maintaining the quality becomes even more difficult. Just to complete the picture, our customers are responsible for writing or inserting the trading strategy into the FPGA. They can use a C++ language for that. And apart from the FPGA pipeline, there is also software API for monitoring the application. So it's not just hardware solution. We need to do some software testing as well. The main part is the FPGA though. So that's it for the introduction, just the basic background, what I'll be talking for the rest of my presentation. First, to set some goal for testing hardware solutions. Of course, we need to make sure they are reliable. I don't think I need to explain, what can happen when there is a bug in a trading system. We all know how much money we can lose when there is a problem in production. So that's first important goal. The other, maybe even more important, is time to market, because each month, each day, your solution is not running in production yet. You are not making money, hence you are losing money. So time to market is also critical, especially in hardware-based system where the deployment takes longer time than in software. The important thing to note is that verification and testing takes about 70% of your time to market. So the implementation itself, the design, is the smaller part of the time required to deploy a hardware-based solution. This is why we need to focus on the testing part. I would just like to point out that by verification, I mean functional verification. Some might say that the only true verification is formal verification, but in our opinion, that is not yet ready for practical use for more complex systems. So in the rest of my talk, when I say verification, I mean functional verification. We can split the verification approaches into two main groups. One is a black box approach, when we just set usually random inputs for the unit under test and check the outputs against some functional model. And we know there is a bug in the unit when there are wrong outputs. So just by observing the outputs, we determine whether or not the unit under test is performing correctly. The other approach is white box approach, where we use some knowledge about the design itself, about its specific functionality, and we add some mechanisms for checking internal state and for reporting some detected problems. Probably the simplest example of a white box approach in hardware design are assertions. Assertions are statements that are always true. So, for example, we know that we can't be reading from an empty FIFO, or that we can only have one bit in a one-hot encoding. So these are some typical examples when and how we specify assertion. Basically, when there is a place in the code where the developer says this won't ever happen, this is where you put assertions to check that in fact this really never happens. In practice, in the real world, the impossible things usually happen. So when we simulate the design, when we test it, the assertions get triggered and are reported to the user or to the tester. This significantly helps localizing the bug, because you are not just looking at the outputs, you have a checked inside in the code that reports a problem. So it is then much easier to localize the specific place in your code, in your design, which contains this error. The important thing is that assertions do not affect the performance of resulting hardware, because they are only checked in simulations. So the synthesized design doesn't contain this logic. It is possible to use something like assertions in real hardware as well. For instance, we use interrupts for reporting some serious problems, but that's a little out of topic of this talk. So these were assertions, simple white box approach. Next, I'll move to a typical black box approach, which we call unit tests. The idea is that you write test benches for each specific unit, and the main goal is to make sure that each simple unit is well written, well tested, and from these simple blocks that are working correctly, you can build larger solutions, larger design. It is based on universal verification methodology, or open verification methodology, and it uses system Verilog verification. It is a standard black box approach. That means we implement random generator of inputs. We implement a functional model of this unit in Verilog and check the outputs of the two. You might say that we implement the same unit twice. However, implementing the modeling system Verilog is a high-level description, so it is much easier than designing the hardware itself. Good thing is that we can run the simulation for days. For instance, we use tests with 10,000 and more transactions just as the basic test, and the methodology allows us for monitoring the coverage, meaning did we cover all the combinations, for instance small packets, large packets, did we test inter-packet gaps and so on, and we need to very thoroughly test the simple units in simulations to be able to build more complex designs. So this is one of the first steps, and it works very well with the assertions, because when you are running multiple transactions, you can look at the reports or the detections from assertions in your code. The next step is testing the whole solution. In our case, the full tick-to-trade pipeline in the FPGA. Doing this in simulation doesn't work really well because of the speed of the simulation. So it is much easier to do it directly in FPGA. And for this purpose, we have implemented software model of this hardware pipeline in C++, which has the exact same functionality, the same blocks, and we can use it either for software simulation or for verification of the hardware design. The important point is that we have a separate output for each stage. The same pickup, the same data, for instance, market data from the exchange, is passed to both hardware pipeline and the software model, and outputs from each stage are compared. Having output from each single stage again helps localizing possible bugs. Still, having to run these tests manually is not a very good idea. As I've said, we need to support a lot of exchanges, multiple different configurations, and how do we make sure we didn't break anything when we need to commit a change, like a bug fix or a new feature? We can't possibly run all the different test cases manually. That's why we automated all this testing using a platform called CDash. So each night the whole source code repository gets built, tested against software model, and tested on a live testing exchange access, whether we are able to connect and whether everything works correctly. And if somebody broke anything, the developer receives an email urging him to fix it. Of course, it's important to have a separate branch for testing, so the bugs don't get to production. Just report it to the developers. I would also like to quickly cover performance testing. We have made sure that the functionality is all right, but especially in this industry, we need to make sure we achieve low tick-to-trade latency and high throughput without packet loss, and to make sure the parameters hold even when we do some changes to the design. Since FPGAs are deterministic and can assign timestamps with nanosecond precisions to each event, we can monitor the latency directly in the FPGA, assign the event of receiving packet and event of sending output packet back to the exchange, and report the latency to the software. And for instance, when the software sees that the latency is over 1 microsecond, which shouldn't happen, we report a problem. This is some kind of self-test, so in case there is a error in the unit under test, it is a possible problem. So it is important to incorporate black box measurement as well, meaning using optical tabs, to measure the latency independently on the unit under test. These were all the topics I wanted to cover today. So just a short summary. Most of the time to market for hardware design is spent in verification. So we need to automate the testing process as much as possible, and it is a very good idea to implement functional models either in System Verilog or in software for your course. In hardware, it is very difficult to localize the bug, so we need to help this process as much as possible by using different asserts, checks, or having outputs from different stages in the pipeline, so we can specifically localize the bug for a specific unit in the design. And finally, we can't forget about the performance, so we need to constantly measure the latency and do some tests for throughput to make sure the FPGA is still able to process the data rates in wire speed. That's all for me. Thank you for your attention, and I would be happy to answer your questions.
Hi, my name is Oleg. I have a question regarding software model, functional software model, which you are using to prove the quality of FPGA firmware. How can you be sure that the code which you wrote in C++ is actually internally the same as your, let's say, FPGA firmware?
You can't be sure, but you compare the outputs, and the differences show, in the actual performance. So, you can, by comparing the outputs, you can be quite sure that the implemented function is the same. The concern might be that the same bug is in both hardware and software, which unfortunately.
But how can you be sure that your internal function and that you're actually testing is implemented in the same way in software and FPGA model? So how can you be sure that if your software model doesn't return an error, let's say, how can you be sure that FPGA is also doesn't contain some bug in this function?
What do you mean by model doesn't report an error?
I mean, you're sending some input data
Yeah.
into software model and hardware model. You're checking outputs.
Yeah.
By checking outputs from software model, how can you be sure that your hardware doesn't contain the error? Because your code is, let's say, if we look at low level, it is implemented completely different on FPGA and in software.
Yes.
So how can we use the software model to prove the quality of FPGA firmware?
It doesn't have to be, exactly the same implementation. The important thing is the behavior. It's the same for a System Verilog. You need to implement the same behavior, and by using, two languages, you actually, limit the number of bugs that can occur for the specific language, specific representation. So it's actually a positive thing that the C++ code is a little bit different. It's a description of the same functionality, but different description.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you.
Hi. One question I would have about the models that you're using. Well, it's actually more about the units that they're testing. Is how big a unit would you test at this level? Like in your whole design, how many models would you have?
A lot. I'm not sure about the exact number. You know,
Or maybe even a guiding principle of how many lines of whichever hardware description language you're using of the synthesizable code would you say requires a model and requires a test? I'm expecting every single thing would be covered by some model, but it's the size of the models that and how far you go before you feel you need a model.
We prefer to write the models for smaller units, you know, and you know to compose the bigger units from the smaller ones, because you know the bigger the unit, the more difficult the testing gets.
Would a unit would something be modeled ever contain multiple entities?
To some level, you know, yes. As I mentioned, the whole FPGA pipeline, you know, I don't really see how we can describe that in system Verilog. That's why we moved to software, to a different approach. So it's hard to quantize the number of lines or the complexity when it just doesn't work. So can't say exactly. Sorry.
Okay. Thank you.
I guess a matter of experience. We can discuss maybe offline.
Sure. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi. I'd just like you to say a little bit about your business model. Do you write all the FPGA code for your customers, or do some of the customers write it and you provide them the tools and support to implement it?
Actually, it's the second one. You know, the idea is that we provide the commodity blocks like the exchange protocols and so on, and customers implement their know-how, their trading strategy. And of course, they don't want to share this piece of logic with us because it is very precious
So it's always
know-how.
written by the customer.
So we just provide the tools like a black box where they can insert the strategy and actually use our model to test it and compare it with software and so on.
Thank you.
It seems there are no more questions, so thanks again for your attention, and fine to talk to me if you would like to discuss further. Thank you.